It's been a great last 3 days here. We got baseball back.
Yes, we do have baseball. Finally.
It's been a long wait. So we are, looks like about 33 days away till the regular season starts on the day of this recording, which is February 27th. When this releases, there will only be 29 days left. So, or I'm sorry, 31. Wow.
31 days.
31. A little off on the math, but that's all right. All right, so baseball's back. Glad to have it back. We got a lot of sightseeing here for some of these top prospects here.
Oh, yeah.
Just going down the list, I mean, number one prospect, Gunnar Henderson, he came up a little bit last year, so he's already got some MLB experience playing time-wise. He will probably make the club, I would assume, right away. So,
oh, yeah, he will be.
But you got your guy number 5. You want to elaborate on that? I know that's your guy.
Volpe, I saw him for the first time live on the baseball game.
Yeah.
He got a good contact, hit. He strike out. He can run. Like, he stole first to second, then after that, second to third. Second to third.
Yeah.
So the kid can run. We'll see what's gonna happen. I don't know. I think he will be called up to the this year. In the summertime.
Beginning of the season, or you think like middle?
In the summertime, because the Yankees have.
So like June, July-ish.
Yeah,
maybe right before the All-Star break, maybe.
Yankees have a lot of things to fix. Especially with the a lot of infielders.
It's what happens when you load up on contracts. You get in situations like that when you call guys up and you can't do it because you're loaded up on contracts. But that's what happens.
DJ LeMahieu there, Gleyber Torres.
Yeah, for him to sign an extension, it's just there was too many extensions there for some of those guys. I feel like, at the time it looked like a good idea because you thought, okay, these guys are a couple years away, and then all of a sudden now they're a year away. Now you got some hard decisions. I mean, that's the thing Cleveland has to deal with all the time. We are able to actually get rid of a lot of our players, though, to turn it around and maybe get an MLB-ready player. So, but it'll be interesting to see what the Yankees do. Now, Volpe is your number one prospect at shortstop. He is the number one shortstop prospect in all of MLB. Going on down this list, though, I mean, for instance, Cleveland's got a good guy coming for a right-handed position. He was number 4 for all-time.
Do you see? I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
You see the Orioles?
Orioles they're loaded in prospects.
They
are on the way. They
top
are
12, 3. They have 3.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's just insane. You got 4 prospects, top 40. Hey, I think they have the best farm system in the league. Do you agree or no?
It's up for debate. Let me see here. Quickly look it up. I mean, how many do they got in the top 100 if you're going down that list?
Okay, so they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
7. Keep going. 8. They have 8 top 100.
Okay, so as of January 21st of this year. This is by MLB.com. Farm system, best farm system, ranking wise. Let me see here. Looks like they did a poll. That's a poll.
They did a poll or just?
Yeah, like 50% of people say the Orioles do have the best farm system.
Oh yeah.
Check here. Just double checking. Okay, this is by Bleacher Report. Now Bleacher Report does have their issues in their own self, so don't just take this with a grain of salt. But still. Braves are ranked last. Now this is on January 6th.
Come on, sir. Of course they deserve a spot.
This is right after they traded up for
Sean Murphy. And remember last year the Olsen?
Yeah, and they traded for Olsen. I mean, that's what happens. Angels are 29.
Oh my God, they're in big trouble. They are in big trouble.
You know who's got a short window, especially with Cleveland taking over now? Is you have an issue with Chicago. The White Sox are 28th ranked.
Wow.
If they don't capitalize soon,
they have to make a trade.
They're going to be in problems. Yeah, they're going to be in trouble big time. I mean, it's going to be an issue. Phillies are 27th. They're loaded right now on the majors.
I don't think they're concerned because they're competing. So
Trey Turner.
So who's 26?
26 would be the Toronto Blue Jays.
Wow.
You get the Marlins 25, 24 San Diego, but again, they're loaded. They are loaded at prospects.
San Diego
when you
was
loaded.
number 1 like a couple of years ago, remember?
And they called a lot of their guys up, though, and then they traded
Juan
up.
Soto.
And that's fine. Yeah, they traded for Soto. They got Machado in free agency. Speaking of which, Machado, not even a week into him saying, I'm going to opt out and test the market, signs the contract. 11 years old, was it 350?
350.
They got Bogarts, they got Machado till they're 40, 41, and then they got Tatis now until they're 35. So I mean, they got a lot to go.
Yeah.
Houston's 23. Again, I don't think they're worried about it. How many World Series have they won?
2.
Yeah, and then how many times have they been in the playoffs the last couple of years? 6 or 7.
Since the 17.
Yeah, so I mean they're in there. Royals are 22. Going down this, you got Mariners 21. I don't think the Mariners are worried about it. Brewers 20. Red Sox are 19.
They went up.
They did go up. They did go up. Rockies are now 18. Rockies better hope that farm system works because they are struggling bad. They need these guys to prove out, and they need some help. Yankees are 17.
That was the poll or just because they was
This is ranked. This is based on rankings.
Oh, Bleacher Report. You're talking about.
Yeah, by Bleacher Report. So this was on January 6th of 2023. So obviously this is a little over almost.
Well,
2
they
months
said
ago.
they just did another one. It was.
This is the most recent one I could find after looking it up.
Okay.
So, that's why I said take it with a grain of salt. This is as of January 6th. So you got some time to look into it yourself. Obviously, there's going to be stuff changing here in the next few weeks, especially with spring training going to be winding down here. World Baseball Classic around the corner. We'll get into that a little bit more later. Cubs are 16. They're on the come up. Giants 15. Oakland 14, especially after all those trades. You got the Rangers 13. After all those signings, and they still have that coming up. Here's a guy I'm interested in for the Rangers. You have right-handed pitcher Jake Leader.
Yeah, that's the Leader's son.
He was the starter, I believe, for the All-Star game for the Futures game.
Oof.
For them, for the American League. So he throws heat. He's got a good breaking ball. Him with Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi. Oh, my goodness. And then you also got the flamethrower who has had some issues. We'll see what happens. He's ranked as tier 2, and that's Kumar Rocker.
Okay.
From Vanderbilt a couple years ago. So Diamondbacks are 12. They're on the come up as well. Be careful with them, especially after trading for Loris Gurriel Jr. Gurriel, excuse me. You do have Tampa Bay at 11. Tigers are 10. They're on the come up. Like I said, they got some guys that are going to come up here soon. Washington's 9 after all those trades, especially with Soto. That was a big blockbuster. Twins are 8. Mets are 7. Reds are 6.
Oh, of course.
They've been on a rebuild for a while now. Pirates are 5. My team, Cleveland,
number
at
4.
4. I mean, and that just goes to show you, like I said, you have 2 guys right here in the top 50, and you have 1 guy at 51, and that's Daniel Espino, who is on an 8-week side injury with a shoulder ligament tear, slight tear. I believe he's only got 2 more weeks left to go. So we got some time there. Gavin Williams, AA. Both those guys are AA. Both right-handed pitchers, both good pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
Espino's first game in AA last year, and I remember this specifically, came in 12 batters, 12 strikeouts.
Oof.
That was it. 12 batters, 12 strikeouts.
So he could be ready for...
He could be ready at some point. He could
What's
be
in
ready.
AAA right now?
He's in AA. He will more than likely start in AA as a rehab assignment, especially because now of his shoulder injury.
Okay.
He probably won't start throwing until about mid-May. So I would expect for him, if anything, maybe a late run in August, maybe an extra arm in the bullpen. I'll take that. He's got stuff like Emmanuel Clase. I mean, he throws 101. He throws like a 93 mile per hour. Like the breaking balls that he has are just absurd.
And then after the Cleveland made the free agency, Josh Bell.
Yeah, so they got guys coming up. I do think Gavin Williams or another guy who's on here who's ranked number 7. He's tier 2. That's Tanner Bibby. Those are your top 3 prospects.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they were linked to the Sean Murphy trade, and they wanted Daniel Espino. Cleveland smartly said, no,
Nope.
that's their number 1 prospect. I'm sorry.
No, we gotta find some catcher.
Well,
they signed Zunino in there.
Yeah, Mike Zuino is going to be there for 1 year, and then I think that's smart because you got Bo Naylor, who's ranked 4 for us. That's going to be a time he'll come up. But number 51, George Valera, which is interesting because let's say Josh Naylor doesn't work out for Cleveland. Oscar Gonzalez could take the role of DH.
Wow.
And then Valero could go to right field. Speed guy, left-handed bat. He's got some pop to that bat. He's got
what
great
about
defense.
Josh Bell? That's a
Josh Bell could take first.
So who's
Naylor would potentially be a trade candidate depending on how his season goes.
Mm-hmm.
And you could potentially pair him with, again, 2 other pitchers you would have to try to trade, Zach Plesac and Savali.
Okay.
Because if you're going to bring up 2 guys, you got to trade at least 1 or 2 of those guys. Another guy who's going to be injured, who I do think is going to be on the Major League roster, but eventually take over one of either Savali or Plesac, is Cody Morris. Cody Morris came up last year, and he did good. He was good. So we'll see. Going down this list, though, you do have Cardinals 3. Considering
shocked.
how many guys that they have right now ready
shocked.
to go, Cardinals 3 is absurd.
Bet you the Dodgers is right there in second or something.
So right now it has Orioles at 2 and the Dodgers at 1.
Wow. That's a bias, Bleacher Report.
Yeah, again, this is, like we said, almost 2 months old. This is the latest that I could find on short notice.
Because I saw there was a report that Cleveland was third by MLB.com.
So they moved up 1, then the Orioles would move up 1, and the Dodgers are probably down 1 or 2, which is fine. That makes sense. So, I mean, yeah, again, this is close enough. We'll see what happens. I do have an issue, though, with spring training baseball that we need to get into.
Oh,
That pitch clock is horrendous.
it's not change anything.
It shortens the time by about 20 to 30 minutes, roughly. Some games, in some instances, depending on if they have starters in there, if some of these guys aren't playing, some of these teams aren't playing a lot of starters. If they do, they play an inning or 2. They come out. Cleveland the other day, they played 5 starters. They shaved 30 minutes off. Other teams are shaving off like 40 minutes.
I'll get confused about that pitch clock versus batting clock. I'm sorry.
So they give you about 30 seconds to walk from the on-deck circle over to the batter's box. What happens is if the batter is not in the batter's box
the
with
pitch
8
clock
seconds,
doesn't start.
No, with the batter is not in the batter's box within 8 seconds. When that clock hits 8 seconds, if it says 7 seconds and he's not in the batter's box with both feet, it is an automatic strike. Because then when he steps in, the pitcher then has 20 seconds with no runners on base to throw a pitch. And if there's a runner on base, they only get 15 seconds to throw it. Because they're not going from the windup, they're going from the stretch.
Rob Manfred, like always.
Yeah, as diehard fans as we are, I mean, we're not old, and we're a little bit older, but we're not in our 40s, we're not in our 50s, we're not in our 60s. We're still relatively young compared to what they're looking for. So,
Do you heard about the Ghost Runner will be permanently?
yeah, that's going to be
Implemented.
permanent. It disappear. Is it still in postseason, or is it still like
No,
disappeared? It's gone in postseason.
Yeah, postseason. we're not
It's
gonna-
just during the regular season.
Yeah, so it's okay.
That makes sense because you have, 30 games going on sometimes, some games and some days, and then you have like 25 the other days. Where, if you have postseason, there's only 1 game really going on at a time, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. So I understand that. So I was watching the Cleveland game the other day against the Rangers, and there was one issue that I did see, which was Karinchak with about 18 seconds left. Now, obviously, he does his little flip routine. He moves his hair or whatever. Like most pitchers have a routine. He asks for a new ball. Now, according to the rules, they are supposed to stop the clock.
Oh yeah.
They did not stop the clock, and the umpire's like, all right, come on. Like, he asked for a new ball. He asked for a new ball because he, finally grabbed the ball with his hand instead of flipping it around in his glove.
Yeah.
And he finally grabbed a new ball, and he's like, all right, I want a new one. Like, he could tell something was wrong with it. So he asked for a new ball. They sent it to him. 15 seconds left. They should have stopped it there until he got on the rubber.
So what happened?
They did not do it. It was an automatic ball. Automatic ball.
So they changed that or
No, that's how it stuck. That's how it stuck. Also, watching that game yesterday, you want robo umpires? I can see why you make the case for it. I still don't want it. I mean, there was multiple calls that were right over the heart of the plate that were missed. It was like Angel Hernandez was back there all day yesterday for multiple games. I mean, it was terrible. Terrible. So, it was interesting to see. It's going to take a little bit to get used to. I don't know how they're going to incorporate it with TV because they're not going to put the time behind the home plate. They're not going to put it behind, I don't know where exactly they're going to put it in the ballparks. They're going to put it probably, on the banners where the people sit in the higher rows like most stadiums, but I just don't know.
and what about those base run the
Bigger bases.
Bigger bases is like
Yeah.
3 inches bigger, or
And they're saying it's supposed to create more steals. Cleveland's 0 for 3 so far with their speediest guys. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know what the other teams are looking at, but from what I see, it does. Also, it's a shorter distance for catchers to throw. So is it really going to increase speed? No, it's just balances out. So we'll see. I mean, it gives them a bigger base to, try to hook their arm on, so they're not sliding over the base and hooking around.
they want to steal more run. That's what they're looking for, so they can.
Yeah, but you're trying to get more steals and get more action. But at the same time, you're also shortening the distance.
What about the shifting? Are you happy with that?
So that's another situation. I don't necessarily hate it, okay? But looking at it, you can still have your shortstop play like right there by the bag. He doesn't have to be over it, he doesn't have to be in the middle, but right there by the bag. So how far is he off? 2 or 3 steps from where he usually would play? I don't see an issue with that. Now, the one thing you got to keep in mind though is when they're playing there, you do have to remember that they have they do have to have every player in the infield that's registered for the infield has to have both feet on the dirt.
Oh no!
Instead of on the edge of the grass, like for instance, a second baseman has to be on the dirt.
So it no more like going very deep.
No, they have to be literally on the dirt. Like both feet have to be on the dirt. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see that shift again. Like I said, I'm not against it. I do kind of like it in a sense. It's going to get a lot more offense with left-handed batters. I do like that. No more double plays, stuff like that. So, or at least it'll minimize it. You could still get a double play. They act like the shift just automatically
yeah,
means
you're
it's
right.
a
Double
hit.
play was more often than before.
Correct. And again, like I said, it does not mean that you're not going to have double plays. You're still going to have it. Doesn't mean that, a shift span automatic hit for left-handed hitters. No, that doesn't mean anything. You could still hit into, the short second baseman that's pulled more closer to first. That shortstop could still get in the gap and, dive, make a catch.
Yeah.
And we've seen shortstops before. What are they known for? A lot of them, they're known for making those dives, get up and throws. We've seen it with Omar Vizquel in the early 2000s, late 90s, stuff like that. So, it's going to be interesting. I mean, obviously Lindor can do it. Obviously Baez can do it. I think Tatis will be able to do it. We'll see what happens. So, but I mean, what are your opinions on it? I honestly don't I don't have a problem with it.
I like it. I like it a lot, especially because, like example, like those left-hander batters.
Yeah.
If you see the numbers, the numbers is bad.
Correct, and that's the reason they got rid of it. Yeah,
extremely bad. Like Anthony Rizzo's, Naylor, most of these left-hander batters. So I will see the numbers will go up for those left-hander batters. It will be equal as a right-hander batters as well.
Yeah.
So it will be equal. I will see Ohtani's number go up. Because Ohtani's number will go up, especially with that.
Ohtani, I don't think was one of those players that was affected by the shift anyways. He was one of those guys that was not affected.
Soto will change.
Soto was affected by the shift.
Juan Soto was what's the other left-hander?
Cody Bellinger was majorly affected.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens.
Joey Gallo.
Yeah, he's on the Twins now too. So hopefully he doesn't kill Cleveland in that division, but we will wait and see.
So we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. The only thing I don't like is the pitch clock and the.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either. I understand it's to speed up the game. It's to get the attention spans of younger fans. I get that. The problem is though, is I feel like they're still missing their target audience. This next generation, the generation that I'm technically a part of, or the generation right after me, regardless of the fact you speed up the game or not. They're still going to go to basketball. They're still going to go to football. I don't know. They just don't. If you don't grow up watching baseball at a young age, or if you don't grow up playing baseball at a young age, and you're not introduced to it by your grandfather, your father, somebody in your family, whoever it is, your mother, your sister, whoever was playing softball, baseball, whatever the case was, you're not going to be a fan of baseball. I grew up watching it from the age of 3.
Yeah, a lot of changes and prices go up because I had to pay $150 for the whole year.
Yeah, for you to watch everything that's
from
not,
100.
Yeah.
But for 3 years ago, it was like 100, I think, or
Yeah,
4
unfortunately,
years.
and that's the thing. So that's another thing too. Baseball's got to understand. They're not going to get people in the stands anymore with how everything is. First off, you decrease the price, the game. Are you going to decrease the price? If you're decreasing the time of the game, is the ticket going to be cheaper? Because I paid, let's say $60 to sit, or let's say, what is it, 30?
Yeah.
$30 for a nosebleed now in most stadiums, and that's on the nice side. I mean, for a 3-hour game, all right,
That's okay.
$10 an hour. But for 2 hour 15 minutes, it's like, okay, now I'm paying more for each. To me, it's got to balance out. So if you're gonna decrease the cost or the time of the game, you got to decrease the price at the stadium. You got to decrease the tickets because you're paying for what you get. You pay $30 for a 3-hour game. That's $10, per hour. You're paying $30 for a 2.5 or 2-hour 15-minute game. That's roughly a little over $12.75, $12.50.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a couple dollars more, but nowadays those couple dollars go a long way.
So, also with the TV issues with Bally Sports.
Yeah, that's for 14, 15 teams is going to be affected by that. I
And
don't know what
AT&T
they're
as
gonna
well.
do.
I heard the AT&T Sportsnet.
They
but-
might be a part of that, huh?
Yeah, they're part of
Ooh.
it. Houston is involved with that.
I believe Philly is one. No, Philly is
NBC.
Yeah.
It's Houston, and there's 3 teams with that. I think Seattle is another one, I think. I'm not sure, but Houston, I know, is one of them.
Yeah, Houston's
And Houston, they're contenders. They have more viewers.
But see, that's the thing, though. Houston is that team in Texas right now for the Houston area.
Yeah.
The Houston Texans aren't really doing much. There's not much to go on there. Sidetrack a little bit to football. But again, that's the team there. Just like the Yankees are the team in New York.
Exactly.
The Mets are on the way up. They're not technically New York. They're New Jersey. Whatever the argument is, you can get into that. I'm not doing that. But, sorry if I offended any New York Met fans. Well, we'll see. But, at the end of the day, you're going to go from there and you're going to look at it. That's the team. Like for Cleveland is a football town first. They are a Browns team. I don't know why, but we are Browns first, even though we've been miserable since 1999. That's the way it is. There's certain teams like that. San Diego's going to capitalize. San Diego spend that money because they're capitalizing.
Yeah.
They're hitting the market. The area that they're at, they're going to bring in a lot of fans that are going to travel
And they
from
do it.
Mexico.
They're doing a good job.
They're going to get a lot of fans from those areas because they have a lot of those Spanish-speaking players, a lot of those guys that are, known because of, most of these Hispanic countries, they're known in
And
their
San
countries.
Diego's right there at the border of Mexico.
And they're going to draw the fans there.
Yeah.
But that's why they're spending the money like crazy. There's no longer the Chargers there. They literally are running away with that market. That is what is going to happen.
Yep.
So we will have to wait and see what happens with it. It's going to be interesting.
I'm happy for baseball.
World Baseball Classic is about ready to start though too. March 6th, I believe, is the first. No, March 6th, I believe, is the first game. Or March 7th, excuse me, is the first game. There's only one game on that day. That's like I forget who's playing. And then you have March 7th. You're gonna have a couple games. I believe Puerto Rico plays March 8th is their first game. I think the Dominicans the same way. And then I believe the United States starts off against Mexico on Saturday.
Yeah, Mexico, they have a problem.
I believe Dominican plays Venezuela first round.
Alejandro Kirk is out.
Yeah.
He's out.
Yeah.
Carlos Correa out.
Yeah.
I don't know about Team USA.
Team USA just lost Kershaw. That's big.
Oh my God.
That's huge. I mean, for me to have them as a pick, that was the main reason. You had Cortez, you had Kershaw, and then Cortez backed out.
Cortez is out too.
Yeah, Cortez backed out because of an injury, and now Clayton Kershaw as well. It just seems, if you look at Team USA, they are literally just, hey, every single star you can get in the outfield, first base, second base, shortstop, they're there. Pitching-wise, I don't know what it is. You cannot get anybody to come in. Cleveland does have one player for Canada that I'm aware of, and that's Cal Quantrill. He looks ready to go already. He's going to be a stud. He was good last year. I think he'll help Canada potentially win a game or two and maybe sneak out of there. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. They got to sneak out of their poll. But, yeah, coming around the corner. And then I believe it is the 19th and the 18th are the semifinals. The 20th will be the quarterfinals, or the 18th, 19th. The 20th is the semifinals. 21st, I believe, which is a Monday, is going to be the final. And that will hopefully be...
And you said baseball starting in 30-something days. I don't think so because this is like a
yeah,
playoff kind of.
World Baseball Classic.
World Baseball Classic, like a playoff kind of.
It has that playoff intensity. Everybody's going to root for their country. And unlike in the past years, 2017, you had Stanton.
Stanton will be in USA too?
No. I'm talking 2017. I believe Stanton was on that team. You had Christian Yelich, who wasn't really there yet. You did have, Ian Kinsler, who was known in the league. He wasn't.
Jones.
But now, no, you had those guys that were like, oh, yeah, all right, they're at the end of their career. They're in the middle of their career. No major stars. This is the first time I feel like everybody's running to play for their country.
Oh, good. That's very good.
I mean, Andres Jimenez is going to play
Anthony
for
Rizzo is going to
Venezuela.
play in Italy, I heard.
He might play for Italy. I think he is. Acuna is going to play for Venezuela. I mean, Lindor and Baez, they always...
Juan
Puerto
Soto,
Rico
Dominican Rupp
has always had their players play for them.
But I don't see... That pitching is not convincing me.
No, I'm not saying that they're going to go far. I feel like
Dominican
they're going to get out of there.
Republic.
Dominican Republic's
Oh,
going to be
my
good.
God.
Again, Sandy Alcantara is a stud. He's going to be a stud for them. Emmanuel Clase and Camille Dobal are the ones.
Machado.
Those are the
yeah.
guys. Manny
Machado.
Machado's there. Wow, I could not get that out, could I?
Juan Soto.
You got Jose Ramirez. You got they got good guys. They
the
do.
catcher.
They do. They have who's their catcher?
I don't know, but it was good.
Gary Sanchez.
Gary Sanchez.
Is that their catcher? Yeah. Again, don't throw anything in the dirt. He ain't catching it.
No.
You're gonna be running all day, Gary. You're gonna be running all day to the backstop. I'm telling you.
Sorry,
that right
Gary.
now.
Well, you suck as a catcher. I'm sorry.
You witnessed it for multiple years. So, but yeah, baseball is here. It's here to stay until October-ish, November-ish. So, we're excited.
Oh.
We're ready for it. We're going to see what's going on. We are going to 2 games in April.
Yeah.
We might have something going on for a special stream that day. We'll see. We're going to talk about that. We'll obviously know the podcast before, podcast after. We'll talk about the experience, stuff like that. But, yeah, baseball's back.
Yep.
So, moving on, though, we're going to get into a little bit of NBA because NBA is getting ready to ramp up tremendously. I don't even know how many games are there left.
That's like 20 something or maybe 20.
So standing wise, we're gonna go through the standings here in a minute. Let's see. So according to Boston's schedule, they have 61 games played.
61 games, so 30.
There's 21 left.
Okay.
So 21 games is the max right now is what we're looking at. Playoff chances are going to be going up for some people, going down. So running through these standings here. Eastern Conference, Celtics are still 1. Bucks are still 2.
You see
Bucks
how many
have won 14 in a row.
14.
And they're without Giannis the other day. They were out without Giannis yesterday, and they beat
won.
the Suns.
They beat the Suns.
They beat the
Wow.
Suns by 3. So Durant's going to be coming back for them, so we'll see what happens.
I think what I heard it was he coming back on Sunday maybe or
Durant.
Yeah.
It sounds like Sunday is what they're targeting for. We'll see what happens. So I mean, you do have the Celtics, you have the Bucks. Those are the juggernauts of the East right now. They're going to be running the East. 76ers are going to be 3rd right now. They are 2.5 up on Cleveland, who is sitting 4th. Cleveland fell off for a little bit. 7-game winning streak.
Yeah.
We talked about it. Next 3 games, they lost.
They lost against Atlanta Hawks. I don't know.
They got blown out by the Hawks.
They allowed too many points.
They do, and their defense is slacking a little bit. They need to pick it up.
They lost against who on the first?
Was
it Denver? Denver.
Yeah, they lost to Denver. Well, there was 2 questionable calls with Mobley, but again, you gotta make sure that it's not a close enough game to where that.
But it was a competitive game.
It was a great game, and if that's what the playoffs are going to be for the NBA, I am here for
the
it.
Atlanta Hawks was unexcusable.
Yeah, that was absolutely unbelievable. So,
they lost the first game against 76ers. Before
they were down 32. That was on TV, on national television, I believe ESPN, and they came back and they were able to, they lost, I believe, by what, 3 points,
3 or 4 points,
something like that. So, but again, Celtics 1, Bucks 2, 76ers 3. You get the Cavs 4, Nets are 5. Like I told you, they're gonna hang around. They're not out of it yet. They do have the Knicks 1 game behind them right now. They're technically tied, game behind. So the Knicks they're right there. Knicks are putting together a little stretch here. They've won 5 in a row. They're coming for that 5th seed.
Yeah.
If I'm Cleveland, I don't want to play them right now.
No. And the problem is, right now, the next game will be on Wednesday, March 1st. They're going to play against the Celtics. Cavs.
That is the one benefit, though, is that, well,
And
here's
Cavs, well, Cavs are going to play in Boston. And they're struggling.
We have not lost to Boston yet this
No,
year.
not yet, but we're struggling away games.
Well, here's the good sign, though. They did play the Raptors last night. They beat the Raptors. The Cavs have not been able to beat the Raptors at all this year, and they finally got a win.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a sign to show. We'll see what happens. That game's in Boston, too, right? And it's
yes,
on
in
ESPN,
Boston.
so it'll
It's
be
gonna
nationalized.
ESPN, yeah.
So when this podcast comes out, it's what, 7:30 that game as Eastern Standard
Yes.
Time. So 7.5 hours after this drops, you'll be able to watch that game on ESPN.
7:30 in ESPN, yes.
Yeah. So okay, so we got the Knicks 6, 7's Heat, 8 is Hawks. Hawks are at the bottom of the division or the Eastern Conference, but they're close to kind of seal. It looks like they might be able to seal it here if they can continue
Yeah,
winning.
I think they will make it. I thought that they didn't gonna make it because I say that the prediction. I think last time I said the Hawks will be out.
Correct.
But well, I said Toronto. One of those two.
Toronto's 9, so they're right there. Wizards are 10. We talked about this, and I remember going back. We said something about, I believe, the Bulls would slide out,
Yeah.
and they did. They did. Well, no. Yeah, Bulls slid out. And the Pacers are 12. But the Pacers are only... So the Bulls are a half game back on the Wizards. I think they're going to sneak in there again. However, careful on the Pacers. Pacers are only 2 games back on the Wizards, and they're a game and a half back on the Bulls. The Bulls do have to play teams like, the Lakers, I think, once
Bulls
or
have
twice.
the toughest schedule.
They have
I
a
heard.
tough schedule. So, again, that's why I go back to my prediction. I think the Pacers are one of those teams that could sneak in there. Now, finishing this off, you have the Magic at 13. Hornets 14. They are no longer the worst team in the league, at least for the Eastern Conference. They're not the
Detroit.
worst team. It is Detroit.
Wow, that changed from the Charlotte Hornets to Detroit now.
Yeah, Hornets beat the Miami Heat the other day. That was unbelievable to me. So Hornets have won 4 in a row, and that 4 has separated them from being the worst team in the Eastern Conference to the second worst team in the Eastern Conference. Good on them, though. I know Michael Jordan's got to be thrilled.
Oh yeah, he has to be pissed. Well, especially with all the money they invest before.
Oh, yeah. So, but that wraps up your Eastern Conference. Again, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Looks like obviously your top 4, 5, maybe 6 seeds are kind of locked down for the East unless something happens. Obviously, we're not expecting these teams to win every game, but, win a game, a couple of games, lose a game here and there. Out of 21, I would expect them to probably win around 14 to 16-ish max.
Yes.
And that's max. Do you have the Western Conference ready to go? You pulled that up right now? Or what do you got?
I got Denver. Well,
So Denver's
gonna 6 almost 6 games up. Hey, the Joker, third. He will be the MVP once again.
We talked about that. If it's not him, now here's the thing. I was talking to one of my coworkers at my job earlier this morning, and we were talking about it, and we said it was down to 3 people in our opinion, and we talked about that. And I believe it was our second podcast is when we finally brought NBA in there and talked about it. But we said Jokic, we said Tatum, and we said Mitchell. Mitchell, just because of the fact that Mitchell's been dropping, almost 30 points a game for Cleveland. They've won a lot of games with him in there. You do have Jokic, who is possibly a three-peat. Now, we did say earlier when we were talking about it, LeBron could have won 3 in a row. But the NBA was like, no, we got to make sure we keep it. So are they going to do that to Jokic? I would hope not. I hope we're finally past those days. LeBron got screwed out of a couple in the past. I understand that. One of which, Steve Nash, 2006. When he only, I looked up those stats. Steve Nash was playing like 34 minutes a game, 16 points. His WS for wins shared for what he helped create for that team was like 12. LeBron was sitting at 18 for that category. He was averaging 42.5 minutes a game. He barely sat. He sat maybe a minute and a half a quarter. And then he was averaging, like 25, 26 points. He was second.
Oh, no.
He didn't win the MVP that year. So we could see something like that happen. Maybe Tatum gets it. If so,
I think he's deserve it, maybe. Tatum.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If Jokic doesn't win it, as long as somebody like Tatum or Mitchell wins it, I feel like it's deserving. Giannis, they're winning without him right now, though.
Okay.
That's a little tricky though. I do think Giannis is good player. I do. I just don't think he's that. I don't think he determines you win or lose.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Cleveland's kind of the same way with Mitchell, so it's kind of a harsh argument there, and I understand that. So I do think, my opinion, it's got to be Tatum or Jokic if neither one of them win it. If it's not Mitchell as the third option, I don't know who, in my opinion. But you got Nuggets 1, obviously. You said they're almost 6 games up on who?
Memphis.
Yeah, Grizzlies have slid off there a little
Yeah,
bit.
they
finally won last
running their
night.
mouth too much, especially what's his name, Mogren, whatever.
Morant.
Morant.
John Morant, yeah.
That he was talking crap and we had the best in the West, this and that. After that, all the West made some freaking trades to compete against them.
And they didn't do anything.
No. Look at the Suns.
Well, you skipped over a team, and I want you to go back to 3.
Sacramento.
And they just beat the Clippers in double overtime. I
2
believe it
double
was.
overtime.
Yeah. And let me tell you, they got De'Aaron Fox, and what did I tell you? De'Aaron Fox looks like he is finally a part of that superstardom.
yeah.
He's finally hit superstar status. And what did he do in that game? It was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
They have won 3 straight now, and they are only a game and a half behind the Grizzlies. They could take 2.
And
They could take 2. They could
Sacramento
realistically-
is not being in the playoff for how long? 20 plus years.
When was the last time they were in there?
Was it 2003?
They weren't even in there when
2003. I've seen 20 years.
DeMarcus Cousins couldn't even take them to the playoffs. That was their main centerpiece.
Yeah.
So, I seen you said Suns. They're 4. Now let me ask you this: the Suns are 10 games back on the Nuggets, obviously, but they're 3 back on the Kings, and looks like 4.5 back on the Grizzlies.
It's only 20 games left.
Do you think the Grizzlies skid so far down as to 4, and you see a swap where Phoenix and the Kings take over 2 and 3 somehow?
I think
It's kinda tough.
It's gonna be tough. I see the Suns maybe take third place.
But that's the thing. If the Suns take third, I mean, the Kings got to slide up if they're going to continue winning like they are.
Yeah. Wait, only to take the third spot if Sacramento.
So if Sacramento
Struggle.
drops, okay. So in your case, Sacramento would swap with the Suns.
Phoenix
Okay.
Suns, yes.
All right. Well, if only a half game behind on the Suns, who's that?
The Clippers.
And they just got Russell Westbrook. They finally got a point guard that can actually give assists.
Yeah.
Takes the ball out of Paul George and Kawhi's hands, and it opens up the
dangerous.
floor. They're going to be dangerous the next couple of years. Now, is Russell Westbrook only there for the rest
Just
of
for
the
the
season?
rest of the season.
I
yes.
think they're going to try to lock him up for maybe a 2-year contract,
Yeah.
maybe around $30 million-ish to keep him there.
Yeah.
So, but continuing, you got who next?
Dallas Mavericks.
They lost yesterday to the Lakers by 3.
I don't think that trade.
I think it helped them because if you look at some of the footage from their games, right? If you look at some of their highlights, Luka Doncic has never been so wide open in his life. I mean,
on,
3
but-
guys went in with Kyrie and left Luka at the 3. It's gonna take a little bit of time
Come
for them
on,
to
but
gel.
come on.
I know.
For how long how many points it was winning by 27, I think.
But that's the thing. Their defense is gonna hurt them, but they have the offense to potentially outscore any
Lakers
opponent.
came back and just beat them.
I get that, but they only won by 3, right? They blew a 27-point lead. I get that. Don't get me wrong. But again, if any team is going to be able to outshoot their way on defense, it's going to be the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
So, but continuing on, you got
Golden State. I don't know.
Clay had a good game the other day. Oh, they're waiting for
They
Curry.
are desperate.
They need Curry back now.
They are desperate. They are desperate because right now Stephen Curry out. They could lose that spot, and I think if they miss the playoffs, it'll be the first time I think I don't know in history, but it could be
Not history. It'll be the first time in I think 6, 7, 8 years, maybe ish, maybe even 10. I don't know.
well the Lakers. I think okay, maybe the Lakers in 2010-11 when they won the championship.
Yeah,
No. I was wrong.
2010.
No, 2011 Dallas beat them in the playoffs. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
But it could be some team that miss the playoffs if they don't.
Right.
That's shocking because Golden State. I think that the fight between Draymond Green and Jordan Poole maybe
That might have set up a few
affecting
things.
the whole
Yeah.
the whole team.
That might have set up a few things for sure. I mean, it's gonna be. We'll have to wait and see. But, why don't you go ahead and rapid fire the next 3 for me?
Utah, my God.
Yep. Who's next?
Minnesota, they're doing a good job.
Yeah, and then 10th place right
You know,
now.
man, that was surprising. The Pelicans, they was in first place.
Yeah, they're
and they slide like 10 spots.
I mean,
almost.
that's what happens though. They were first place. What, like the first 3 games of the three weeks of the season, and then
It was
they kind
like-
of fell
it
down.
was-
Yeah, it happens though. That's what happens with basketball.
You think
Who's the
Lakers-
next team on that list for 11?
Portland.
And what happened last night with Damian?
Oh,
Lillard?
71 points. And you see that tweet from Donovan Mitchell?
He said his mom told him he needed to go.
to 72.
Yeah,
Do you think he can make it before the season is over? I don't think so.
no,
It's not about a particular player. It's about the whole team.
correct. And that's so then that's another thing. Looking at who's 12.
Lakers.
You think they're making the playoffs? I mean, that
If
West
they do,
is
if
tight.
they're doing a good job right now with that trade, they're doing a good job in defense and shooting and stuff like that. But it depends what
They do have
Minnesota.
a somewhat tough schedule too. I mean, they have to play the Thunder on the road. They have to play the Grizzlies tomorrow night. They play the Thunder on Wednesday night. And I mean, those are both road games back to
They
back.
have to play the Grizzlies on tomorrow.
I just said that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't hear that.
You're in the
part.
zone. I get it. No, I get it. You're in the zone. You're looking stuff up. Yeah, they get the Grizzlies tomorrow night and then the Thunder the next day on Wednesday. And those are both road games back to back.
And then Friday, Timberwolves in the LA.
So let me ask you this. With the playoff hopes on the line, is LeBron and Anthony Davis going to sit out Wednesday because they're playing a back-to-back? These stars play back-to-backs, and then they're like, oh, I'm going to sit out one of these games.
I don't know, man. I
They
think
need to
have
stop that.
They need to play together. Right now, they're desperate. There's only 20 games left.
Yeah.
And 20 games, but at the same time, it's kind of risky at the same time. Lakers just made this trade just to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And this will be the last year.
They only have... Thanks, Jack, for the shake. So you do have... I mean, the Lakers are there. They have to go in the 10th. Right now, they're 12th. Portland has won. They won yesterday. Pelicans, Timberwolves, they lost 3 in a row. There's a chance. I don't see it. I feel like something's going to happen. They're going to run out of gas. Something's going to happen in the next 21 games. But you want to finish off those last 3 there for me, sir?
Oklahoma City,
Oklahoma City, yeah.
San Antonio, man. That's sad, man.
16 straight losses for them,
My
by the
God.
way.
I never see something like Popovich struggle like this.
Do you think he retires?
I think so.
I think after this year. After this abomination, I think that's it.
It just is. If that break the record, how many losses in a row in San Antonio?
I have no. There's got to be another team in the past that had to have that many losses. They had their dynasty from early 2000s, 90s to 2014, 15ish. Yeah,
15,
so
yeah.
they had a good almost 20-year run. So I
Yeah.
mean, they got a dynasty, but
And the Houston Rockets.
and they've lost 9 straight, but they're only 1 game behind.
Just
half game
half game.
behind against the Spurs. So they're fighting for the worst team in the NBA right now. That's what they're fighting for.
top in the draft.
Well, if it worked that way, don't forget.
worked
Just
that
because
way.
you tank now doesn't mean you get the first pick in the NBA.
No, not no
It's
more.
not like
That
baseball.
used to
It's
be.
not like they used to be like that. So
Like the football.
yeah, football and NBA or MLB are totally different. But so we're gonna end today on this. So talking about these teams here. I got playoff chances. What are their percentages of making the playoffs as of right now? Again, today is February 27th, so this was recorded on Monday. So as of today, Cleveland, Grizzlies, Nuggets, Sixers, Bucks, Celtics, all 6 of those teams, have a 99% or greater chance
Because of
making
the
playoffs.
easy schedule they have.
Yeah, they're pretty much they're making the playoffs. It looks like they're almost locked in, one way or another. So Knicks have a 96% chance. Kings have a 94% chance. Nets have a 92% chance of making it. Whether it's playing or not, we'll see. Suns have an 88% chance. Mavericks 84. Clippers are 79. Heat 64. Warriors 60. Hawks 58. You got the Pelicans at 53. Now, the Lakers actually went up from earlier today when I looked at this. They only had a 32% chance. Now they have a 41.1. So they're inching their way back. They
yeah.
have a shot. Raptors are 38%.
Not,
They fell off big time. When they started the season, they were at a 68% chance of making it, 30% drop off from what they were expected at the beginning of the season, and now they've just struggled. There's been injuries. It happens. I get it. Jazz have a 31% chance. Timberwolves 29% chance. Bulls 24. Wizards 24. Trailblazers 20. 16% for the Thunder. After that, you have the Pacers who have a 1.5% chance, and then after that, it's 0.3 or no percent chance at all.
exactly.
The four teams that have no chance at all are the Rockets, Pistons, Spurs, and Hornets. We kind of already
They already
figured
have been eliminated.
they have like a 0% chance at all. I mean, they're pretty much done. I don't think there's no way they come back unless if they win every single game and they get team to fall off of the earth. I just don't think it happens.
Do you consider that trade the Cavs did for Utah consider a good trade?
I think it worked out for both teams. Lauri Markkanen is looking like a stud. I really wish he was not a part of that trade, but for us to get rid of Colin Sexton and to dump him as a contract and to make sure that we, didn't get left out of him just walking to free agency, he had to give up Lauri Markkanen. Markkanen does look really good. Could he potentially, and I'm not trying to say he's that now, but could he potentially turn into a mini Jokic and run that team? Could he run that team, be an assist, be a rebound, be a point guy?
I will be sad to see that.
As a Cleveland fan as well, just as much as we are sad to see Kevin Love walk out on a buyout with the Heat.
They have no choice.
They had no choice, and I get it. But
because he cannot do pace with the young stars,
It wasn't even that. It was more of like his shooting was still there, but let's see what he is with defense. His defense wasn't there.
Defense, yeah.
He just couldn't switch off. He was a liability on defense, at least from what we've seen. Could he still be effective in the playoffs? Absolutely, I think he could have. We'll see what happens when the Cavs hit the playoffs. If they get bounced in the first round and they look like they needed a 3-point shooter, you're going to be looking back at that and saying, could he use Kevin Love?
Yeah.
So we'll see. It looked like he didn't score any points in like 27 minutes his first game with the Heat.
Wow.
But then he came in as a starter again for the second game with the Heat, and I think he put up like 10 points or something like that in the first quarter.
Okay.
So I mean, he was decent. So, but yeah, there's gonna be a lot of things that we got to talk about over the next few weeks.
It's gonna be interesting. I cannot wait for the playoffs and World Baseball Classic. Cannot wait for that either.
It's coming around. So we're about 2 weeks away, not even about a week and a half away from the World Baseball Classic. Baseball's going to have some competitiveness here in a minute. NBA is 21 games away. We're going to have a great month of April. We're going into playoffs. Baseball will already be a couple weeks into their regular season. We already know who won the World Baseball Classic. And then the NFL draft will be following that.
Oh, yeah. What will be this year?
Kansas City.
Kansas City, okay.
Of course, they win the Super Bowl.
And they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That economy's booming over there, I'll tell you that right now. The amount of money flowing into Kansas City, oh boy. But yeah, so we will end it there. Anything you want to add on today's podcast?
Well, the only thing I want to add about MLB, please find a way to drop the prices. Especially in the tickets when we go to the ballpark, and also the streaming service. Makes no freaking sense. You go up every year $10 or $20 more.
I think that could be said about every sport, though. I mean, NFL Sunday Ticket went up every year. Now it's only going to be available, I believe, on YouTube TV. So, yeah, NFL Sunday Ticket, you can only get it on YouTube TV now. Oh,
it's coming up next year?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that's the only thing you can get now. So
you're going to lose a lot of people for that.
Well, NFL Sunday Ticket, that's like to get every game.
Exactly.
You'll still get your local team, yeah. I mean...
So what DirecTV is doing?
DirecTV lost it.
Wow.
Yeah. Nobody has cable anymore, man. A few people do. You kind of have to have cable to have a lot of the streaming, like for Bally Sports, stuff like that.
Let me tell you something.
But who knows? You might not need it anymore if they go bankrupt next week or two.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I said like at least 20 teams, they depend on Bally Sports and AT&T Sportsnet. That's part of the umbrella of that company.
Yeah, we'll see what Rob Manfred does with the solution for that.
Oh, they need to... Oh, by the way, he's made that press conference. Blackout restrictions will continue. That's what he said. And
they're going to be behind the curve. They're going to be behind the curve on that. MLS for soccer is doing it to where they have a streaming service like that, like MLB.TV, and there's no blackouts whatsoever.
Yeah,
that's how you draw fans in. You got to do something like that. I don't know.
You will get money no matter what because the streaming service for that it will be the MLB Network or something like that.
Yeah.
The only option is ESPN, of course.
Yeah.
But come on, seriously, you need to eliminate blackout restrictions. At the end, people will buy all the channels. But oh well.
Well, I like our little rant there at the end. Nice little rant. So, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's going to be interesting, but other than that, we weren't here last week, so we made a little bit longer podcast this week. So
Yes.
We will look forward to talking to you guys again next week. Hopefully you enjoyed this podcast, and make sure, again, follow us on Twitter. That's how you'll get any updates and find out if we have a podcast missing or whatever the case is. That's at Inside Stadium on Twitter. And then you can also find Lizer at Shea Ruiz, CheyRuiz 23. That's his handle on Twitter. And then mine is Shatera Cameron, SHUTTERA CAMERON. That's how you're going to find me on there. But other than that, we would look forward to talking to you guys again next week.
You guys take care and follow us on Twitter anytime. And just see our videos and comment any questions you may have for MLB, of course, and NBA, because that's the topics that we're going to talk about.
Absolutely. So, but other than that, go Cleveland.
Go New York. Go Yankees all the way. We'll see you in the playoffs.
Hopefully not first round like always. But other than that, everyone take care. We'll talk to you guys next week.
All right, you guys take care.